Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Chamberlain, the Air Force guy, here with Everything RVs. I appreciate you joining here on YouTube as well as on my podcast on Apple or whatever streaming service that you are using. In this podcast, we will be talking about everything RVs. I'll be having guests as well as giving you the information that you need to know so that you can go out and enjoy camping so that you can make memories that will last a lifetime. So in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about RV 101, basically getting started. What do you need to know if you've never had an RV? Or maybe you're going to be going to purchase your second RV. What are some things that you might want to understand? So the first question I always ask people when they come in looking for an RV, especially if it's their first RV, what are their expectations? What do they want in their camper? Then the next thing I'm asking them, I say, okay, what is your tow vehicle? Because with the wrong tow vehicle, you may not be able to get what you are expecting as far as the amenities that are going to be in a camper or the size. I'll give you a for instance. So I had a couple come in one day and they had a 4Runner. Now, when I asked the couple what were their expectations, the wife said to me, well, I'd like to have a sofa. Now, the problem with the 4Runner, they have a 5,000 pound tow rating with a max 500 pound tongue weight. And then I'll get into some other things as well. So I took them into a small 16-foot camper and I said, this would be the maximum in the event that the numbers match for you to tow. And if obviously they walk in, they were not happy at all. Their expectations of what they wanted and so forth were much different than what they envisioned. What I think complicated the situation was they had visited another dealer, and the other dealer was showing them campers that they really couldn't tow. And the reason for that is they may have been okay from a weight standpoint, and they might have been, 2,800 pounds or 3,200 pounds dry weight. But the problem was with the tongue weight of the camper that they thought they liked at the other dealer. Dry tongue weight was 573 pounds. Now, why is that an issue? Well, the rating is 500 pounds. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit because there's something else that you need to consider when you have smaller vehicles and the smaller tow capacities. And this is something you need to consider regardless of what you're getting, and that is payload. So we went out to their vehicle, and you look in the driver's door, and you'll see a sticker just like this here. So if you're listening on a streaming service, you can go over to my YouTube channel, and you will see what I'm talking about. Is you have a sticker in your door, basically white, yellow, and red, and it's basically for your tires. Gives you your tire sizes and what you're supposed to go ahead and air your tires up to, but it also has your payload or your cargo carrying capacity for your vehicle. Now, for the 4Runner, it was 880 pounds. So let's consider this. You get a travel trailer that has even a 500 pound tongue weight. That leaves you an additional 380 pounds of weight that you can put inside your vehicle, meaning people, cargo, dogs, cats, whatever you're taking with you. So keep that in mind. That is something very important. Contrary to what some individuals in the RV industry may tell you, and you could look this up, very easy to find if you just Google it, but weight distribution does not lower your tongue weight. What weight distribution does, and by the way, for weight distribution, we'll be doing a whole separate podcast on just weight distribution because that can get very entailed. But weight distribution, basically what that does is that distributes the weight evenly across the frame of your trailer that you're towing, as well as the frame for your vehicle. And it puts the weight back to the front axle, lessens the weight, all that weight, if it's dead weight on the ball, from your rear axle. So now you're able to tow things in a level manner. So keep those things in mind. Something I always recommend to people, especially if, let's say, they don't have a tow vehicle yet. Go on out, find the camper that you're going to enjoy to have. The one that you want, the one that checks off as many of the wants and needs that you may have. And if it's a couple, what you may want to do is you may want to sit down and separately make a list of, 5 or 10 things that you're looking for in a camper. And then try to find a happy medium. Understand that you will not find the perfect camper. Pretty much the same thing as you'll never find the perfect home. If you buy your home, over time, your wants and needs are going to change. And whether you remodel your home or go buy another home, that's what happens. It is no different in the RV industry. In the RV industry, people may start off small and work big. Some people start off with drivables, go back to towables, or vice versa. So the best thing you could do for yourself, and this will save you thousands of dollars if you do it the right way, and that is to find the camper first. If you don't have your tow vehicle, make sure that you're dealing with somebody in the industry that understands tongue weights, they understand tow weights, they understand length that a particular truck is capable of towing safely. I was at a dealership one time and watched them hook up a 38-foot travel trailer behind a Ford F-150. Now, the salesperson claimed that, well, they told me they could tow 14,000 pounds. Well, that's irregardless. 38 feet behind a half-ton pickup is not something that is safe regardless of what they can tow. On top of that, a 38-foot travel trailer behind a F-150 or a half-ton pickup will exceed their tongue weight capacity. Because even though they'll have they might have a 14,000 pound capacity, 14,000 pound tow rating, typically the class 3 hitch receivers that they're putting on these trucks have a maximum 1,200 pound tongue weight with weight distribution. So be sure that you get with somebody that understands these. When you see tongue weights listed in a brochure, or you see them online on a manufacturer's website, understand that they're off at a minimum. You need to add for the additional weight of full LP bottles, whether they're 20 pounds. So if you have one 20-pound bottle, two 20-pound bottles, two 30-pound bottles, whatever it is, you need to add that weight, as well as for the batteries. Those are typically on the front of the travel trailers. So dry weight listed on manufacturer websites is dry weight without options. I have seen trailers that we have weighed, and I'll give you one for instance. It was a Springdale 28-foot. It was a 28-foot bunkhouse. And by the way, length, model number is not an indicator of length nor box size. It's not an industry standard. I have a video on that explaining that to you as well. So, but it was a 28-foot Springdale bunkhouse. The brochure, as well as the website, said that they had a 525-pound tongue weight. Once we put batteries and propane on it and weighed it, it was over 800 pounds. The dry weight, before we had the full LP bottles and the battery on it, was well over 700 pounds. So do not go by what they're putting in there. I think there are some manufacturers that do a very good job, and they'll put a sticker on the entry door telling you what the tongue weight was of that particular trailer when they weighed it at the factory. And I think that is, I would love to see that as a industry standard, because that is something that will be helpful to know, especially with towing. So now, once you're able to go ahead and narrow down your trailer, then it's a matter of going to find the truck that you want. And again, be very careful with the car dealers, because again, car dealers, salespeople are very much like some of the people in the RV industry, and they do not understand their product. So make sure that you understand what you're getting. And if you're dealing with the right salesperson in the RV industry, they'll give you the necessary information so that when you're finding that truck to tow that trailer, you're going to be in much better shape for that. I'd like to know your comments. How many of you all drive down the road and notice a vehicle that's towing a camper and it does not look safe? You've got to understand that not only is it an unsafe situation for the family that is towing that vehicle, but for everybody else on the road. And so do your due diligence, do your homework, ask the right questions. And even if you ask the right questions, that could be an issue. For instance, I had a couple come in looking for a truck camper. Their truck, if it did not have any modifications to it, was perfectly fine to carry this truck camper. But because of the modifications on it, it would not handle safely the truck camper that they were looking at. I mean, they had a 1-ton dually, Dodge Dually, brand spanking new. You think there'd be no issues. But the problem was they put oversized tires on it. They lifted it 5 inches. The U-bolts that they put on it were too thin. And the sway bar that was on the rear axle was taken off. So they had to go remodify their truck so that they could safely handle this truck camper. Fifth wheels are no different. Understand that I know that there's a lot of fifth wheels out there that people say they're half-ton towable. Again, it comes down to payload. Payload is how much the tongue or the pin on the fifth wheel is going to weigh when you put it in the truck. Understand that you need to also take into consideration the fifth wheel hitch that you're going to be using. Obviously, if you have a short bed and you need a slider hitch because it doesn't have one of those swivel pin boxes, that adds weight versus a standard style fifth wheel hitch. Payload includes that, also includes people and cargo. Understand also with fifth wheels, the front storage compartments are rather large, or they can be. And so you have to factor in the amount of weight that you may be putting in the underbelly, as well as inside your camper, that's going to add to your tongue weight. I've known many people that have bought fifth wheels with Toyota Tundras, half-ton pickups, and when they've gone to the Catskills, and by the way, I know I said that to somebody one time just the other day. I said that they ought to ask their friend to go to the Catskills to weigh their camper, and they said, "You talk about the place up in New York?" I was like, no, the Catskills. This is something there. It's a certified scale. Typically, you'll see them at truck stops, but where you're able to weigh your truck as well as your truck with the camper. And the best way to do that, would be to weigh your truck first. Just so disconnect your fifth wheel, your travel trailer, whatever, while you're there. Go through, weigh your truck, go hook up, come back in and weigh your truck with your camper. That way there you're able to see, okay, am I okay as far as payload? Am I okay as far as your rear axle rating? Am I okay as far as my gross vehicle weight rating, my gross combined weight rating? For those of you that have questions on that, feel free to comment down below, and I'll be sure to try and answer your questions to the best of my abilities here. I've been doing this business for over 23 years, and I know enough to be dangerous. I don't know it all, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather lose a sale than to put somebody out in an unsafe situation. So, but I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you learned something today. And if I could be of any assistance, feel free to reach out, and I'll be more than happy to try and answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back at you again next Monday, same time, same bat channel. Take care.